Yo, full band tonight. So much
Full
hope
band, full
buried.
house. You got us all. It's not
I
often
wasn't
that it's not
So
often
much-
that we're
so
in the
much-
same room together. Like, it happens maybe like once a week max. Like
Maybe.
So much room packed.
So
So-
right.
so, so much room.
Period.
Don't forget about
Period.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
period.
Period.
Yeah, I wasn't
What's up, man?
expecting this. Was not expecting this because last time we kind of chatted, it was just Derek and Andrew. So I'm glad to have the whole crew here. Not Derek and Andrew. Andrew and
It was
Eric.
Eric and Andrew.
Eric and Andrew,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, that was a while
Eric,
ago.
Eric, Derek.
I think we were like, were you on the cusp of fatherhood when that
I
happened?
think I was on the cusp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're like deep.
Dude, now Elliot is like almost 13 months.
Mm-hmm. And Isaac's entering the terrible twos.
Yeah.
Time
Okay.
flies, man.
Yeah, already a year.
Well, I want to get into that, and we'll get into
course.
that.
Yeah,
But
please.
I want to talk about what we're here to talk about quickly first,
Of course.
which is the band So Much Hope Buried.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
A lot of things happening right now.
Yeah.
There was a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
things going on. We
We-
decided to just kind of like throw it all out at the same time and just see what sticks. But
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, we just came out with a new single called Vacant Home
Mhm.
featuring Mochi Naga from Fall of Tears. That guy's awesome.
Mhm. Communication was great because he currently resides in Japan and speaks Japanese. So Eric's actually in the middle of learning Japanese. So him and Derek were basically our main communicators. I don't know how, like, I stayed out of it because I'm like, I'm gonna screw something up and this guy's gonna think that I'm weird.
Well, it was really cool because he knew more English than any of us know Japanese.
Okay.
So yeah, it was mostly conversations in English,
Mhm.
but it was really funny because when we were saying like, "Hey man, when do you think you're gonna be able to get your part like recorded and sent to us?" He sent us back something that was like, "I should have it shot by this time," and we were like, "Is he shooting video?" I was like, "What's going on here?"
I remember like
So like the language barrier was a little funny, but it was
I remember
it all worked out.
we
yeah.
we initially reached out to another Japanese artist.
Yeah.
And I remember like the response was just like it was something along the lines of like, sorry, English is very poor, best of luck. Like
Yeah, that was it. Because there's a couple Japanese bands that we like a lot, but it's funny because I think Mochinaga works super well in it because his style of screaming or vocals was kind of similar to this old era of us.
Yes.
So it's like kind of a nod to like the old stuff, but still.
But way more Asian.
Well, let's
Yeah.
get into that because I mean, you guys have definitely kind of transitioned into a different sound.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And you know, as you approach this new single, the record is due out on May 17th.
Yes.
First full-length studio album. Talk about that. I mean, why the change? Why the
So- yeah, I got it.
All right.
We have we had a member, a couple member changes. No more screamer, no and then a bass player change. And as the three of us, me, Andrew, and Derek were chatting, we were like, do we get someone to replace our screamer? And then at some point we were like, why don't we just become a different genre? Who cares?
Mhm.
Like the genre doesn't matter. What was super important to us is that we just stuck with us, right? It was just me, Andrew, and Derek at the time. And we were like, let's just write music. I don't care what it sounds like. So we kind of stuck within this vein of melodramatic, like kind of like darker,
Yeah, the perfect way. How did we describe it earlier today?
literally emo,
It was just like
emotional.
yeah, it was just like sad music with positive lyrics.
Yeah,
You know, like
So-
we're trying to generalize it there.
Yeah, so we kind of stuck within like that genre, but ultimately we didn't really care. So on this new record coming out in May, there's a lot of genre kind of hops.
Mhm.
And I don't think it's not like offensively genre hopping.
Mhm.
Like sometimes, you've got these bands that kind of like really go from like the most insane
Yeah, you'll
kind
go
of
from,
music
like, 0
genres
to
and hop.
1,000. We're
But
doing it like
yeah.
effectively.
Yeah, and I
We're
think it really
understanding what our
works.
boundaries are.
Yeah, and when you listen to the album, it's not it's I think the genre changes happen really nicely and really gradually within the music, and nothing is just like a hard cut from one thing to another thing. And then I don't think like even one song sounds super similar. Like it definitely sounds
Right.
like us, you know.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a cohesive record and it sounds like us, but it doesn't feel like, oh, every song is just a copy paste of you know,
next.
the other songs.
Yeah.
So like you know, we came out with Apparition, which is just a one off, so that's not even on this record. And you know, that has a certain sound to it and we love it. But we didn't want to write like 10 apparitions.
Mhm.
You know, we wanted to write a cohesive record that had a lot of ups and downs dynamically. You know, the order of the record was meticulous. Excuse me. So you know, there's a lot of intentionality to it.
Yeah. And just kind of touching on what Eric said, there was at some point there was like a creative shift in like the mindset of the band where there was just like this unifying, we all kind of looked at each other and there was like, I am going to respect whatever you want to do. So if you come up with this idea, we're going to try to push that idea forward. And it's funny because at the end of the day, we're all songwriters. And so there was just this unifying agreement of everyone's ideas. And it's very interesting being in that predicament because I feel like 9 times out of 10 in bands, there's like this established, like, this is what the sound is. We're going to roll with that. Everyone try to write to what that is. But like, we just basically said yes to everything
Oh yeah.
and then just moved forward with it all. So this is definitely just like this cohesive collaboration of all these different ideas coming from all these different places. So it's cool.
Well, I feel like it's a little more universally consumable.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
yeah,
compared
yeah,
to what it
the old
was.
stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So like I said, we lost our screamer and we were just like, Derek is such a phenomenal singer. Like, we don't need a screamer.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
like sing.
The original, iteration of this band, there was a clear understanding that we were in a bubble. And we understood that entirely. We're just like,
we knew the niche.
we knew
Yeah.
the niche, and we were like, this is going to turn some people off, but we're having a good time, so whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because it was just like with the shift change, it's obviously singing is more publicly
Yeah,
generally publicly
commercially.
more appreciated.
Yeah.
So with that alone, it was just kind of like, okay, you guys, I kind of dig this more. So like,
Yeah.
we statistically saw like a rise, like, okay, a lot of people are turned off by screaming,
Yeah.
which is what it is. So like, suddenly we kind of took that away, and there was just like, oh, we saw an increase in our audience. Cool.
Yeah. You have to be like in a certain mindset. At least for me, I need to be in a
Yes.
certain mindset. And honestly, believe it or not, as angry as I look or seem sometimes, I'm really not an angry person.
Yeah.
And I need to be angry, like to be listening to that style of music.
I'm kind of right there with you.
Yeah.
I'll be like, full disclosure, and I've said this in the past. I joined the band initially, just like looking at everyone saying like, this is a great group of guys, and I just want to be a part of this to have a good time. I didn't join because I'm like, this is next level music or anything like that. I joined because I was just like, these are great people playing music, and I just want to be a part of it. It just
And
seems like fun.
When you joined the band,
Mhm.
I think there was only one song written,
There was, yeah,
right?
and there was like barely any guitar in it. And I joined as the guitar player.
Yeah, it was just written as a piano piece, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically
Derek
it.
plays piano and sings.
Was that word?
Well, I think that's what really kind of, you say you haven't lost everything completely. And I think the mainstay obviously is Derek and his voice and vocals and
Yes.
the
Oh, yeah.
piano.
Yes.
So you haven't
We're well
lost like
aware. We always call Derek the X Factor as much as he doesn't want to be it.
he's the glue. He's the glue.
He is.
Literally
You're
the
glue.
centerpiece.
I try. I don't know what to say. Yeah,
That's all right, man.
100%.
Listen, we have pulled him apart and like made sure we got every ounce of talent out of him on this record.
Yeah, you'll
So-
hear it.
I wouldn't have been able to
We've
do
just-
any
like
of
like
it
a
without
towel,
these
we've
two
just
guys.
wrung all of the talent. We're making sure we're getting all of this. 'Cause he's kind
Well,
of
it's funny.
closed off, and we had to pull it out of him. What was that?
Well, it's funny too, because I thought because Eric, you were in a band, or maybe are still in a band called Toothless. So I thought that aggressiveness kind of came with you from that, and that was kind of like your thing. And I know Andrew kind of dabbles in a variety of different things.
Yeah.
And so does Derek. I know that you guys had kind of had like a was it like a punk thing going or
All
something.
over the place. Don't worry.
What was
yeah,
that?
yeah. Previous bands with like pop punk and
Fresh Steps.
fresh.
Step?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I was a big fan of that.
That's funny.
We got the one sing. I like. Well, listen, whenever the next single comes, whether that be 1 year or 10 years from now, it'll happen. Don't worry, I'll do it just for you.
Well,
said.
this probably isn't funny to say to you at least, but like I always, I don't know why,
No, please.
but Fresh Steps always reminded me of cat litter.
That's exactly
what
why
it
it was named that.
Perfect.
You hit the nail on that, dude. I literally, so my cat.
Yes,
I'm very
Orange
public
Boy,
about
right?
my cat. Yeah, so literally, I was like, so the song came like, so I'll dabble in the Fresh Steps territory really quick for you, just for your sake.
Okay.
Song was just a demo, existed. I'm a songwriter. It's who I am at my core. It just existed. I'm like, this is cool. Let me just, it's like COVID. I'm like, I just want to do something with this just for fun. And so I didn't care about it. And I wrote the song, I recorded it at Eric's studio. And then literally I remember like trying to create this entity out of it. And I just looked at my cat and then looked at the litter next to him. Like, that's it. That's it. We're calling it there. All right. That was the end of that. So
Shot a video and everything.
oh, I went all in. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm in that video.
You were in that video. And just to keep in mind, completely like in my brain, Fresh Steps just exists like fictitiously. Like I just create it was for the funsies. Like it did.
Dude, you resonated with people. Some people really like that.
I love that song.
I got one.
See?
Yeah.
I
Got at least one. Well, I mean, from a band standpoint, as so much hope buried. Obviously, it's a collection of musicians and writers and things like that. How did you guys kind of get together? Was it an accident? Was it just respect out of each other? Like, how did that? Everyone's pointing at Derek.
It was Derek.
Yeah,
Again, the
all
X
Derek.
factor,
Like
the
you said,
glue.
he is the glue.
Yeah,
Derek
I
is
mean,
the
it
glue will
kind of
give you
stems
the
with
story.
me and the former vocalist, and he wanted. We dove into this subgenre called melodic hardcore, which is just very ambient melodic sounds with spoken word, poetry, and screaming, and I saw the potential in his voice and his words, so I decided to write something very melancholy on the piano, and he did some spoken word with that, and then obviously then that's when my mind came to a guitar player, and of course I thought of Andrew because he's a great
Well,
person.
I'm gonna
And
tangent off super quick because I love telling this story. I was working in banking at the time, and I was on the lunch break. And I just remember I was chatting with a coworker, and then I literally just get a call, and in the span of 3.5 minutes, the conversation just goes, "Hey man, you interested in just being in this band?" And I was like, "Yep." Hang up. I just looked at the coworker, and I'm like, "I guess I'm in another band." That's how it started.
Well, I want to go back really quick because Derek's like, I need a guitar player, and he said Andrew's just a really great guy.
and a great guitar player
Wow.
and a great guy.
Not the best guitar player, but I appreciate that.
Wrong.
I just thought it was funny
You're
how
the
he led
best.
with just he's a great guy.
Great guy.
His
guy.
guitar's
And then we
okay.
I
wrote
need the guitar player, and I'll settle.
Yeah. And then we wrote a song called Desert Child, and my brother did a lot of mixing and mastering, but we needed a place to record vocals, and I was like, of course, Eric. So we went to Eric, and I asked him to be in the band, and he's like, yeah, I don't have time for that. And but eventually he did.
Well, so I remember you asked me, and I was definitely like, this is really cool. Was I married yet? Was it?
No.
No, I was definitely like
No.
getting married. So like
maybe.
I
I don't know.
ran a lot of decisions through Sarah, and I was like, man, this is a really cool song. I like this a lot, but like I just don't know how much like time I have, so on and so forth. And I eventually told you guys, I was like, okay, like I want to be in the band, I want to do it, but I don't know how much I can give to it right now. So I will play drums for you, and that's kind of just like where we were at the time. And I mean now like we're pushing like crazy,
Mhm.
for this record. I mean, we poured our heart and souls into this.
Yeah.
So it's
Absolutely.
just kind of funny how it goes from like, well, I don't really know how much time I could dedicate to this to like, full
Yeah.
gung ho. And like it was nice to see some like success, I guess, quote unquote,
Right.
with like
And,
apparition and so on and so forth. So
it's kind of resonating off of like the great guy quote.
the
I
great
mean,
guy. The great guy.
that there's something
Very
there's something
nice.
within that though, that it was just
Yeah.
like we ended up prospering such a strong bond and such a relationship that it just felt natural to
Yeah.
just to kind of be like, okay, like we've all been down the band roads.
Oh yeah.
We all clearly have this mutual respect for each other.
Oh yeah.
And so we just kind of, we kind of stuck it out, and then all of a sudden everything just kind of grew on its own.
Yeah.
And everything has felt very natural.
Super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all got super close really fast.
Like unbelievably
Like
fast.
really fast. And it's because even though Andrew lives an hour from me, he would hang out after practice for like hours, and we would just talk until like 1 a.m.
Yeah. And then we started a podcast.
And then
And then we had you on it.
Well, I remember that because we talked longer than most of your conversations, and then when we were
Yes.
done, we talked more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
we,
yeah,
that's us.
We need to have the updated dadcast soon.
I know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
it's a whole different world.
It is.
I just have a whole lot more bags now under my eyes.
So much bags.
So much bags. I'm a dead
I'm
inside.
gonna call referencing me just so much weight added,
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah.
much weight
Dude,
gained.
I gained like 30 pounds or something, and I wasn't eating poorly, but I swear it's because I wasn't sleeping.
Mm.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You
I blame my daughter for the 25 to 30 pounds that I gained. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm 41 or
Nonsense.
that I eat like a raccoon out of a garbage can. It's definitely her fault and the lack of sleep. But
You
we'll
can
get to
enter my
that.
territory and just go like kind of psychotic into fitness land.
Yeah, we'll get to
Oh,
that
God.
too.
Yeah,
We'll
that
get to that too.
Yeah,
But
But,
talk about this song. It's
Yeah.
called Vacant Home.
Yes, sir.
It's is it fair to say it's an emotional song outside of
yeah.
obviously the
Lyrically or musically?
both?
Both, yeah.
Yeah, I would totally agree.
Yeah, I would definitely
Definitely
say
agree.
so.
I mean,
I don't honestly. What are the lyrics?
Yeah, I mean it's literally just like it's about, you know, somebody, it's a fictional story about somebody who loses a loved one or is at like the end of a relationship, but like kind of clearing remnants of memories, cherished memories in a house. And that's where the idea came from. But like I've always wanted to write a song about like just like using metaphors for an abandoned house. That's
okay.
literally it.
So like just metaphors around like loss.
Right.
I love. Yeah, I love.
Yeah, you could say
Correct.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's
Derek
pretty
is
much it.
very
And
meticulous with his lyricism.
Yeah. Derek's a phenomenal lyricist, even though he doesn't believe in himself. But I think
it's definitely a new thing though for me.
I think from the music standpoint, it's the song off the record with the longest drawn out mellow parts.
Mhm.
There's no other song in this record that has like super like this. The verses are pretty long,
Very long.
just
yeah, it's
like
a long song.
pads
It
and
almost-
ambience and
Yeah.
building, and this is like
And it was funny because I was just having a conversation with someone about it the other day about how like there is, at least in my brain, Vacant Home was the clear introduction to the record. So like it made sense that to put it out first, because I looked at it as almost like, me personally, I looked at it as like the gateway to the record. So it was just kind of like it has pop sensibility, but it's also like almost 5 minutes long and it's hard to digest.
yeah.
But I was just like, I kind of don't care about that because it's the intro.
I
Like,
I
this
think
is-
if you can get behind Vacant Home,
Mhm.
you can get behind the rest of the record
Yeah.
easy.
because it's not like, it's not written with the intention of like to catch your ears immediately, which is totally fine because
Yeah.
it's creating something bigger. is the artistic
Yeah.
goal.
It's part of the whole vision,
Yeah.
if you will, top to bottom of the whole record. You know.
Mm.
Musically, it definitely like captures that idea that we have for just writing and the rest of the whole album being the dynamics of it.
Oh
And
yeah.
it, like very,
Super
very like
fluctuating.
um very powerful and then instantly just like calm and
Oh yeah.
ambient
Super
and then
dynamic.
powerful again. And that's kind of how I like the whole album.
And then Japanese screaming.
Right, which is
I-
the coolest thing in the
I
whole world.
love being like I love being like this is the first band that I'm the guitar player in. So it's like and you know my initial instrument was the guitar. I took up singing in a lot of the roles that I ended up playing because it was one of the situations we need a singer. I'm your guy. Don't worry, I got it. But this is one where I could actually like and in a live setting fully embrace the fact that I'm the guitar player. And I love this song for the fact that like I love taking I love the dynamic roller coaster of it.
Hmm.
I love to be able to like
Yeah.
during the quiet parts I could like kind of shield myself away as the guitar player.
Yeah.
And then like during the chorus I can just kind of like
Explode.
explode. Yeah. Yeah.
Because most of the verse is led by ambience,
Mhm.
which actually is a really cool thing that Derek does with a reverb pedal in his piano. So you would almost think that it's a synth when you hear us live, but it's actually just a normal piano sound and then sent through a swell reverb. So all the attack is basically taken out. So when he hits it, there is no like boom. He hits it and it just goes. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's very swelly and it sounds like a synth. But yeah, so he basically leads that, even though it's not like a lead instrument.
Yeah.
He's like creating this ambience around us,
He's creating
and
this,
I don't
yeah.
even play for the
Oh,
first half of each
wild.
verse.
We're just
Like,
kind of immersed in the space of the keyboard.
yeah,
And I love
yeah, and
that.
then I just kind of take a back seat until I start building up with toms.
Mm-hmm.
And even at that, like I'm not like super
Yeah.
playing until like the verse comes in, where
Yeah.
I just hit I'm sorry, the chorus, hit a big old snare,
Yeah,
and then just
I
go
think
for it.
it's funny because like I feel like this we're alluding to the fact that like to understand this band, we really encourage that you see it live.
Yeah.
It's funny because that wasn't even the question, but like I feel like that's exactly what we're getting at.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, that's fair. I think
Yeah.
that's very fair,
Mhm.
and people can
It's a
do
good
that.
introduction.
Yes,
It's the lowest of the lows and the highest of the highs for us, I think.
yes,
Like honestly,
all in one
like
track.
yeah, it's
Fully
literally got the
immersive.
lowest of our dynamics, and then that bridge is
Peak.
like the highest of our dynamics of
Yeah.
like blast beats and screaming,
Yeah,
which is like the only one with screaming.
right.
Spoiler alert, I guess. But, yeah, we wanted to stick away from that. From screaming obviously in
Mhm.
general because we're this new band, but we
The
just kind of
appeal
like a
was
nod.
the yeah,
Yeah.
and the appeal was he's Japanese and this is gonna be sick.
What's with that? Because you said you tried to get two Japanese.
Yeah.
Is there a significance to that?
Two bands that we like a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
So we just like
I
we
remember-
like the bands. We reached out to the one, just because I guess I was already following him on Instagram,
Mhm.
and he got back to me. It was just like, I don't speak English, so no. And I was like, and what's funny is I responded to him in Japanese,
yeah,
and he never got back to me.
yeah,
And I was like, that's fine. And then we reached out to who ended up making it on the record, his Mochinaga, and he said kind of the same thing, where he was like, I don't really speak English, but I want to do it. And we were like,
Yeah.
all right. So
It's-
we,
And it's funny because like I remember we were talking about this earlier about how it feels like we've been around the block for a while at this point. So expanding our musical palette however we can excites us. So there was something about utilizing the language barrier that was like, this feels like foreign territory legitimately that we're treading on, and like
unintended.
it's exciting. So that was just a good feeling because I remember we got the initial tracks from Mochinaga, and I remember Eric saying something along the lines of like, this feels this feels fresh on like all of our behalves.
Mm.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And it really pushed Sarah because Sarah ended up, with the help of people on Reddit and Derek and myself, subtitling everything in the video.
Mhm.
So every word that's sung in English is subtitled in Japanese, hopefully correctly.
Yeah.
No one said anything yet.
And then everything that Mochinaga did in Japanese is subtitled in English. So
I-
that's pretty sick.
I did notice that, and I wasn't sure what the. I don't know if I ever got to the vocals of his.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it flips around when we get to his part. I thought like I remember seeing that and I was like, for me that was the X factor.
That was it.
I looked like the moment I saw the subtitles, I was like, yep. I was
Yep.
like that just took it from 100 to 150 for me.
I don't know what any of that
I,
says.
yeah, I thought there was something about it.
I know what it says, but I didn't notice it.
That's
But the way I
clever.
found I found Fall of Tears by diving into that melodic hardcore subgenre, and I'm a type of person who loves to create playlists on Spotify, and when I get into a genre, like I do research on trying to find other bands that sound similar to that, and I found there is melodic hardcore is huge in Japan and Indonesia. So we have like a little following in Indonesia,
Yeah, we
guys.
do, because of the record that we don't play anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't sound
But
right.
but so yeah, that's why we just reached out to him, and hopefully we can help skyrocket their career as well.
Yeah,
That's
that's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Talk about the video. Really well done. That's a
Sarah's
neat little
great.
thing. Sarah, yeah.
Yep, Sarah did it.
Okay. Talk about that. Sarah's your wife, the mother of your
Yes.
child.
She's the greatest woman ever.
That's
Close
what
to my mom. It's a different plane. But yeah, so my wife, videographer, my wife,
my wife.
she yeah, she shoots all of our music videos, and again, spoiler alert, every song off this record is going to have a video.
No
So she
kidding.
took that task on, which is a huge undertaking. But so far she's absolutely killing it. And yeah, so we shot Vacant Home in Shikshini, in an old, probably weren't allowed to be in house.
We
in
found our way
Shikshini.
into a vacant
Yeah.
home.
The door was open, so we walked in.
Come on in.
What was really cool about that video is it was, for some reason, this band has a tendency to shoot in like single digit degree weather. For some reason, almost all of our music videos we shot in ice cold weather. So that one was freezing.
Oh.
Everybody was frozen. Sarah's in this giant jacket and her hands are like trembling. And we did it in, I think, 2.5 hours. We were
We
like
sped through that. Yeah.
moving.
Yes. Shout
Everybody-
out Brady Sutliff. For,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
I
yeah.
was-
Brady.
I was gonna
got
ask
us
you,
into
is that where you
got
found
us
Brady?
in. Yeah.
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 Yeah. We found him just sitting in the house by himself. No, I absolutely love Brady to death, and I just made his most recent record, and this is totally side note, but anyways,
Yeah.
yeah. So, Brady, as he was here making his record, I told him, I was like, dude, we got to get a place to shoot this music video called Vacant Home. So, and he's like, oh, I live out in the sticks where nobody's at. He's like, there's a lot of abandoned places out there. And I was like, dude, if you can get us into one, that would be amazing. And there's some weird serendipity going on with this whole thing, because months before this, which is the album cover, so I'm sorry, not the album, but the single cover, what you would find online right now is a picture of the house that we shot in, right, for the music video. Derek went months before that for his job, had to pass this house.
Years.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was years.
Jeez.
It was like 2 years ago, and I deliver cars to sometimes get to deliver cars to houses, and it was around Shikshini Lake, and I would always pass you. If you go to Shikshini Lake, you have to pass that house.
Yeah.
And I was just in love with the look of it, and I said to myself, like, I would love to go inside that building and like explore, and
Yeah,
it's
so we
insane in
end up
hindsight that we got to.
so Derek was like, "Hey, I want to get a picture for the single art, and I want to go to this house." Again, years later.
Mm.
So we were like, "Okay, cool." So me, Sarah, and Derek took a ride, went out there, got a picture of the house. It was cool, and then and then this is and now after I was speaking with Brady, and so we already had our picture for the single, and I was like, yeah, Brady, I got to get out. It's like somewhere there's got to be an empty house, and we actually had three in mind. And I was like, well, there's the one we took the picture of, and then there's like two others that maybe we can get in. And he goes, well, I probably can't get you in to, the first two, but maybe the third one. And I was like, okay, cool. So from some weird miscommunication, I thought we were going to house C, right? There's A, B, and C. I thought we were going to house C, but house A was the one we took a picture of, and you need to pass house A to get to C. So this whole time I'm like, okay, we're going to house C. Andrew's already there at this other house,
Yeah.
and I
remember calling
pass.
you like that. I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, I pass house A, and Brady's sitting outside of it, and I was like, what the heck? So I pull back, and I was like, what are you doing? I was like, we're at the other house. And he's like, no, dude, I was talking about this house. I was like, the one we got a picture of? So,
That's
so we
wild.
literally end up shooting in the house. Like, I called Andrew and I was like, hey, you're at the wrong place. We're actually at the one we took a photo of.
And thank the Lord for that. There were like sheets hanging from these windows, and I call Eric and I'm like, I'm pretty sure someone's living in this house, and we're about to storm in.
Yeah, so Brady, gets us in this other place. Even though we all thought we were going somewhere else, and I happened to pass him on the way there. So that was like really crazy and really weird. But yeah, so the house in the picture is the one that we shot at.
And it's everything you would hope for to look like inside for a music video, because we go up this spiral, like it was like concrete spiral staircase.
The house was built. Well, when was
No,
it?
it
Like
wasn't
the 20
concrete,
It
it
was
was
like
Oh, was
like
it wooden?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
design.
It looked- I don't know.
Yeah.
Tiny house.
So I will tell the story.
Please.
Andrew is shooting in his room, right? Everybody got a room. Andrew's shooting in his room. On the floor is covered in letters and books, just like nasty. I mean, like it's covered in like animal feces and like it's pretty gross.
There's just so much poop.
So much,
So much poop.
Birds.
Yeah.
So Andrew Derek is shooting his parts with Sarah, and Andrew's just like kicking around all the books, right? He's just kind of shuffling through and just like looking at things. Andrew found a letter, unopened letter in this house, postmarked 1942.
Yep.
No way.
It was nuts.
Yes.
So we had to open it.
Clearly, I had to commit a felony, and like I opened mail from the 40s.
Yeah, 1942.
But dude, it was like a letter written to someone. It was like the modern day text message
Yeah.
of the 40s, and I was like,
Right.
this is wild. Like,
Yeah, it was like
then we kind of it was like,
it said,
hi
"Dear
Susan, just
or
like
Lizzie."
checking on. Yes.
It was Lizzie.
Oh, it's like,
It
hey
was-
Lizzie, just following up from last week. Hope
Yeah.
you're doing well.
it was like,
I'll see you on Thursday.
It said like, sorry, we didn't, or we missed you or something. I know one thing was like, we needed to get back to Plymouth by 9:30. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, hope to see you at the wedding this Friday. And I was like, this is crazy.
Wow.
I wonder
Yeah.
if they saw him at the wedding.
How is it not destroyed by like the weather? Like,
Dude,
I don't know, man.
No
I
clue.
found a lot. Like I took a lot of
Unreal.
interesting photos of all
Absolutely
those books
unreal.
in that room.
we have proof of it. I promise. We're not
Yes,
lying.
we did.
I
catch it on
believe you.
video.
There's
Yeah,
evidence.
I opened it on video.
that's wild. It's so wild that like, for one, I like you see these abandoned buildings and it's sad because like there was once, people living there, people working
Right.
there, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and it just, I don't know. It's weird.
It was wild. I just remember like I sifted through probably that whole shoot. I shot my shots first, and then I just stayed in that room, just kind of sifting through the books.
Yeah.
And I loved doing that. Like everything,
cool.
Almost everything in that room was dated between 1920 to 1945 ish.
Yeah.
And I just found whoever was there must have been. They studied something, because there were so many like learning books. I remember my wife works in labor and delivery, and I just remember like sending her like it was some type of gynecology book from
Yeah.
like 1925, and I'm like, I don't know why this is here, but this is kind of
Man.
cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We were shooting a music video, but the thing is, like, the thing that was on my mind the whole entire time is like time's just gonna go on, and things
Yeah.
are just gonna be left
Yeah.
the way it
yeah,
is.
kind of
It's
Yeah.
it's kind of morbid to think about, but
That's one of our songs on the record.
Yeah.
It is. There's a song that's thematically about that.
Well, I don't know when it was. Maybe within the last year, I was like, uh, I came to a thought that one day somebody who isn't me will be living in my house.
Right?
yeah.
right.
It's weird.
It
Crazy
is
thought.
weird. Hey, I live in my grandparents' house. So
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
grandfather, who died before I was even born,
Mhm.
built this place. And the house you were in when we took the photo.
Yeah.
And it's like my mom grew up there.
Yeah.
Like it's so, it's so weird to think, and now like I'm raising my son in the house that like my mom grew up in. Like I don't know, it's kind of cool. It's cool to like keep it within the family. And at first I was like, I thought it was gonna be weird because after my grandparents died, my family was like, well, there's no mortgage on the house. Like, why don't you and Sarah just move in?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, let's, we're keeping the house in the family.
Mhm.
But at first I was like, is this gonna be weird? Like I have childhood memories of going to my grandparents' house, literally this house for
Mm.
Christmas, and like opening up presents and stuff. And
Yeah.
and it's not. It ended up like,
It was like a weird psychological.
yeah, like it feels like two different houses. It doesn't feel like the same thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just like I don't know. It's just kind of awesome to think. Like our master bedroom was my mom's room
Hmm.
growing up.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Weird, right?
That is
Great.
that is wild. I always wanted like my grandmother passed away. A neighbor that I used to have actually bought it from my family. So they lived there with their kids for a few years. So that when it was up for sale, I was able to go into it just to kind of like just see it and how like they had
Yeah.
changed things. Um, but yeah, I'd always love to like go knock on those doors again. And like my other grandparents used to live in like an apartment in West Wyoming.
Mhm.
That like as a kid seemed so large.
Yeah.
But like now looking at it as an adult, like thinking back on it, like the kitchen was so small, the bathroom was so small. Um, and then I've driven past it since, and like you look at it driving, it's like, wow, this place is quite small. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
but back
Right.
then it was like so
Right.
big.
Right. It's weird. Like I
Yeah.
feel like in instances and circumstances like that, I feel like I'm trying to seek out like those feelings that I got like that like from my youth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
The Elliot's room, I stayed in a lot
Mhm.
when and my sister and I would like stay in there like in this bed, and my grandfather would always say, if you stay over on a Saturday night and you go to church with us in the morning, then I'll take you to Dairy Queen afterwards.
Ah.
So it's like,
nice.
okay, so we go hang out with grandma
Love
and
Dairy
grandpa,
Queen.
and then yeah, and then we go to church and then get ice cream.
Right.
And like I just have like so many memories of what that room used to look like, and that's literally Elliot's room. And it had like nasty 70s like the wood wall paneling,
Yeah.
but like not real wood, like that cheap like nasty veneer or whatever. And it's just like so many vivid memories, and that room felt huge.
Yeah.
That room felt huge, and now I go in there, I was like, this room is so tiny.
I think
Yeah.
it's like kind of like shifting it a little bit back toward like the band and music and everything like that, relating the two concepts. I that sometimes plays in my brain of like the arts in general and why I create, period. Sometimes the idea in my brain kind of says like if you create something, there's a chance that it's going to last well beyond you.
Oh yeah.
Like yeah,
A hundred
and so that
percent.
that runs through my mind sometimes.
100%.
Yeah.
Like imagine, and then that's why I love doing this because like my dad passed away when I was 22.
Mhm.
And what I would give to like just have like a voicemail that I could
Oh
just
yeah.
Right.
reference because I forget what he sounded like. It's been almost
Yeah.
20 years now.
Yeah.
Um, but like as you said, you're creating music will live well past you, and like I'm doing this, like my kids will be able to reference this as long as the internet doesn't crash.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be like what I would give to be able to have that. And I was even just thinking when we were talking, like my I had my grandparents. I think I was 20. was like 21 or 22 when my last grandparent died. But I didn't like really appreciate them for what they were because like I was a kid. Like you don't really think about that kind of stuff. Like they're just
Exactly.
these adult figures that, they take care of you, they
Mhm.
spend time with you. But like as an adult now, I would love to be able to talk to them about what
Yeah.
did you do for a living? Like how did you
Right.
guys
Yeah,
like
exactly. It's like
I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
yeah, that realization of like during your youth, you tend to forget that they're also progressing in life as well, regardless of age.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you're 60, you're still what does 70 look like?
Yeah.
What does 80? You like when you're 7, you don't think about that.
No.
No.
And
Right.
it's until you reach a certain milestone that you're just like, oh wait, we're
Everybody
equals.
talks. Yeah, everybody talks about my grandfather on my dad's side. Well, I mean, both of my grandfathers. So highly, but specifically the one on my dad's side was 40, I think,
Mm.
when he had my dad, who was the baby of the family,
Yeah.
and then I'm the baby of my family. So by the time I was even born, my grandfather was like 74 or
Right.
something, or like 75. So like I barely knew him, and I
Yeah.
was like, dang, I wish I could like talk to him like as an adult,
Yeah.
not as just like sitting on grandpa's lap, like playing his trumpet or whatever.
Right.
Like I wish so bad I could have like an adult like real conversation. But like that was a
Yeah.
big factor of why we had Elliot, because I was thinking of my parents, and I was
Yeah.
like, dang, I want Elliot to have a relationship with my parents.
right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, that's no.
Well, no, my grandfather fought in World War II, and like what I would give to be able like
To just conversate with
Yeah.
it.
yeah, like
like,
what was that
peek
like?
at it. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's do a
Yeah.
podcast and let's record it. Like
Like, can you imagine? Yeah.
You
There's
know,
got to
it's
be
just
some type of AI future technology that's going to make that happen.
Well,
Yeah.
actually,
Wow.
from our perspective, I mean, you just mentioned with your kids that they'll be able to reference these, but that's like a two-way street. Like, when I'm dead,
Mhm.
Elliot's gonna be able to watch stuff like this.
Yes.
Like watch interviews and see like how I thought
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. And Elliot's kids, hopefully, who knows
Right.
what happens,
So just
are gonna be able to be like, what the heck was grandpa like? They're
exactly.
like, oh, he was a weirdo.
yeah,
you
That's-
know?
yeah. It's so cool. Like it's cool to have this. And that's one reason I started it too. Well, I wanted to do it just like with friends because I have a like really great memory, and I'm worried that that'll be the first thing that goes. So I wanted to have like just audio documentation of my friends and talking and reminiscing. And it just kind of morphed into like,
Yeah.
entertainment related. But like,
It's kind of
I
a
always
beautiful thing because you could look back on it and just I don't
Yeah.
know. There's so like given your predicament and your circumstance, you could look back on this, in like 20, 30 years and just this like since you did such an overwhelming number of podcast episodes, you just have so much material to reminisce on. Like that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I can't wait. Yeah, I'll be yelling to my wife, get the tapes,
Yeah.
you know, get my tapes. I want to remember so much hope buried.
Yes.
Give my Apple glasses.
I can't even imagine what's going to be like in 20 years. I mean, think about what's happened in the past 20.
Exponential.
I know, right?
Way
So
too many
crazy.
things.
So crazy. I don't even want to know. This
Same.
whole like reading people's minds and shit. No
I
thanks.
don't know.
No thanks.
The chips, they're where they read everything. That whole theory.
I'm tapping out. I don't want to do that.
I don't know about the chips soon because right now at Motor World there's wow I'm promoting them right now. No,
Shout out
but right now
Motor World.
at,
Eric's job, let's go.
car dealerships the chips are being affected with the key fobs, so they don't have enough chips to inject us with.
Oh, all right, fair.
So we're okay for a while,
Okay, good to know.
Right.
There's a
Good to
shortage.
know.
All right, we're good.
That silicone shortage.
I don't want my wife to know anything, I think. Like she'll be like, I married this guy?
This guy
Need it.
is only thinking about food all the time.
This this is the father of my children? We need to get out of here.
It's just dead silent. It's just dead silent. She goes, "Really? You just had dinner? You think about tacos?"
Or maybe it'll be funny, like, because we're such different creatures, right? And we're very simple, I think, as men. We,
Right.
food, simple basics in
Primal.
life, and
We're
our you
Chicken
guys
tenders.
know as husbands and fathers, like the wife's brain, they don't stop. They're thinking about everything. Thankfully, because if we the vacations we go on, I remember being halfway to the destination, being like, "Oh, did we get the toothbrush? Yep, got
I'm
it.
right there with you. I am right there with you.
Swimsuit? Yep, got it. Safety vest? Yeah, got it." I'm like, thank God for you, because
I'm great on the short term. Like if we have to like do something like quick or like I make a checklist, we're good to go.
Yeah.
But if it's like if it's like of any substantialness, like any big trip at all, like I don't know why I just lose it.
Yeah.
And like I just let Gabby take over. Like
thank God for
she
that.
does great. Yeah.
But back to the band.
Yes.
First full length out due out on this May 17th, and we have a release
17th.
show
Mm.
17th, right? And
Release
then
show 25th. We're letting it stew for a week.
Yeah.
at the Jazz Cafe in Plains.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And we
Very
have
excited to be
some
there.
great guests joining you. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, local legend James Barrett, who
Yes,
we've
sir.
also had on the podcast, is going to be playing, which is awesome. So we're really excited about that.
Yes.
We wanted to do bands that weren't necessarily just um, like the same genre, but just people that we're like good friends with.
Right.
You know, we wanted it to be a big old homie hangout.
Homie hang.
So, obviously, we all know Barrett, of course. Everybody does. He's iconic in here. But then For the Better is playing, and oh my gosh, they were also on the podcast. Jeez.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So Jake has become a friend of mine, and obviously Craig and Mike and
Of
Chris.
course. Mhm.
But man, we just we hit it off so well. And I remember Jake reached out to you, I think,
Okay.
for the podcast.
Initially for the podcast, our podcast.
Yeah, for our podcast. And then, man, from there they came over, we shot it, and we were like, "Yo, these guys are sick."
Yeah.
So we ended up just becoming like good friends with them.
Mhm.
Talk to them all the time. And so we were like, "Yeah, For the Better." Now they're from a little bit of all over the place.
Mhm.
But oh my gosh, where's Jake from? I don't even know. Is it North?
State
I want to say.
I can't remember. I can't remember.
I want to say North. I don't know. I don't track him.
But like,
on the
yeah,
daily.
yeah.
Shout
But,
out,
like, I know
shout out
Apple
Jake
tag.
Pomeroy.
Yeah, I know Chris is from like the Allentown area, so like I know they're like kind of all over the place, and I know Mike moved here from Rhode Island, so like
Mhm.
they were all over. But so
Oh, I was
we got
just,
them playing.
I have to tangent off
Sure.
real quick just because For the Better has like a little bit of a side project. What's the name of the country project?
I don't know.
Oh,
It's a country duo.
it's a country
It's Jake
duo.
and Craig, right?
Jake and Craig do a country duo, and I looked at Gabby the other day. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like that single hurricane. I'm like, I'm their biggest fan, and they don't even realize it.
Oh, yeah. Funny. And then Wither Away, which we actually got a chance to play with them and Gavin's other band. So Gavin's other band is Escape Artist from Milton. We got asked to play in Milton with Escape Artist and Wither Away and us. And that show, I don't even remember when it was. That show was the last show that our old bass player Nick was playing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he it was not like it wasn't a bad send off or anything. Like he he decided he needed to focus on certain other things. So we were like, absolutely, like do what you got to do, go kill it, homie. Love
Yeah.
you. See you later. But yeah, so that was his last show, and then the guitar player of Wither Away, also named Nick, very confusing.
A lot of Nicks that float around.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
So much of
Heard that our Nick was quitting and was like, "Hey, you need a bass player?" And I was like, well, "That's funny." So that kind of sparked our conversation with me and Nick from Wither Away.
Mhm.
So then we started chatting, and Wither Away is sick. They're
Yeah,
just like a really
super
good
sick.
band, and again, they're from all over the place too. Like one of the
More
guys,
like the Reading area.
one of them, I'm pretty sure is from Reading. I think JJ. I'm not really 100% sure. I know Nick is from Delaware, like northern Delaware.
Yeah.
So like they're all over the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just think like every band that's playing is so solid, and
Yeah.
it kind of sucks because we could have picked so many bands
Mhm.
that are friends with us, that are amazing bands who are great people, um, we could have made an entire day festival of how many bands are like friends of ours and so on and so
True.
forth.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, For the Better and Wither Away, they do fit musically really close to us.
And I remember
So that was
Derek.
kind of a factor.
Yeah, Derek, you were ranting to me about James.
Yeah.
I kind of dabble all over the place.
Like,
I do some songwriting and play guitar and help out in the band Altered Pink. And I remember you showed up because Altered Pink opened for one of James's shows at the V Spot.
yeah.
And I remember Derek just conversating with me afterwards, and I'm like,
I kn-
this dude connects on us with like an emotional level, and
Like,
he was
I've-
super into it.
I've seen James Barrett play many times, and I've been, I've known him for a long time through, I think, Kiss Theater and also the Marine Corps League.
Yeah.
But when I was standing there in the V spot watching them play, and it just like his music is extremely emotional and very powerful and has that kind of rock vibe,
Yeah.
but also that ambient melodic vibe.
Right.
So I just looked at Andrew and I was like,
That's
he
the
needs
one.
this needs to he needs
Yeah,
to play our
drums.
release show.
If
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, James is one of my favorite artists locally here.
Yeah.
I can't speak highly enough about him. I don't know what it is. I remember when I had a radio show, he was one of the first artists I played like in 2017.
Mhm.
And I didn't even know who he was at that point. His song came my way and I played it, and he's just gotten exponentially better over the years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Awesome.
awesome. It's
But-
just awesome to see him grow in the area. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Derek touched on something that we didn't touch on before. You mentioned the Marine Corps League. So I wanna
Yeah.
give like an origin story for me and Derek and how far we actually go back. So prior to
I don't know if it's called that anymore
I
though.
don't even think it's even I don't know. So me and Derek have known each other since I want to say the 10th or 11th grade of high school. So I was just starting to play in bands at the time. This is pre-Send Request days. So I went to like it was like a talent show. It wasn't even like a battle. It was like a talent show at the Kiss Theater in Wilkes-Barre. Keep in mind I'm like 15 at the time. So like I show up to support my friend's band. I think they played like they played like Strokes covers or something like that. And like here I am just like the fanboy, gotta support the bros. But out walks this insanely talented band of brothers and friends that just so happened to be Derek and his two brothers and
Hybrid
their
session.
friends. They're called Hybrid Sessions, and just completely blew everyone out of the water. And I just remembered like I was kind of upset because I'm like my bro didn't win, but but I got introduced to Derek that way, and so I started a cover band not long after that experience, like seeing him for the first time, and we just
I didn't even know you were there.
yeah,
That's
right.
really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And we
so
played
cool.
like Green Day covers and stuff like that. And I was just trying to get gigs at like 16. I was like, I got soccer practice, and then I'm going to go to band practice. That was like my forte. But I was trying to get gigs anywhere I could, and so I ended up stumbling upon this like this Marine Corps League.
It's
It was
like
like a kind of VFW hall kind of thing.
Yeah.
That
Was
hybrid
this-
sessions. What was that?
Is that like in the Wilkes-Barre area, like across
Yeah.
from like
It's in Plain or Miners Mills.
Myers Mills.
yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that. Yes, I
It's
got
the one-
introduced to some dude named Jack.
It's like across from like
Yes.
Penley Footwear, right?
Yes.
Oh, I know exactly where that is.
Yes,
Right
Yeah,
across the street.
I used to shoot darts there.
that's amazing,
Wow.
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, we used to have shows in the back, and
That's where I played my first show.
yeah, and so like I remember hybrid sessions would play there all the time, and I was like, we gotta get in on this. So my earliest recollections of playing shows was playing shows with hybrid sessions, like, and it's funny because like ever since I just kept running into Derek because like I started Send Requests, he would be in other bands, and there was just like everywhere I'd go, I just saw Derek because
It's not
That's
a bad
awesome.
thing, you know?
right.
That's awesome.
And then what was it like? Not when was that? It was 15, 16. So I want to say what a
Probably-
solid 12, 13 years later, we're finally in a band together.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Small world.
It's a small area, I think. I think this
It
is like
is,
a
yeah.
unique Is it unique, or is there a ton of places across the U.S. that are like this? I don't know.
I don't know. I
I
think
think the
they're
people make it unique.
yeah. I think
You
the
know?
people are yeah. I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that's actually something that really struck me when I used to tour a lot in Tala.
Mm.
Was I went so many different places, and I always felt like this is all the same.
Yeah.
I was like, this is literally all the same.
Mm.
And the only thing that really makes anywhere different for me is having my friends and family around.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going down to Texas for the first time. I was so stoked. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to Texas. I was like, this is going to be so sick.
Mm.
Like, everything's going to be crazy different. And I got off the plane and I went around and I was like, there's a Walgreens, there's a CVS. I was like, and they're all like next to each other. I was like, there's a Best Buy, there's a Staples, there's a Dick's,
Yeah.
there's a Bed Bath and Beyond or whatever, like, and I was like, oh my gosh, these are all, it's literally the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I remember just like, and obviously the fast food chains are everywhere too. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. And we went to literally every major city in Texas, and I was like, there's a Walgreens, there's a CVS, there's a Dick's, there's a Best Buy.
At
was
least
like, man,
$10
The
jumbo.
illusion
Yeah.
is over.
Yeah, I was like, this is literally the same thing, except there's no trees and I'm really hot. And I was like, this, like, I said, it's cool, but it really solidified the fact that, like, I want to tour. I love playing shows so much, but this is always my home base. Like, I've got my family here, and that's what's more important than literally anything. That's why my studio's here. That's why, like, I want to live here
Yeah.
because it's all the same. You can go all the way across country, and you're gonna find the same stuff.
Yeah.
So, like,
Well, at the end of the day, like you said, like a community, the people make the community. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, and
yeah. And
Like-
when you don't know anybody,
it's exactly.
then then it really feels the same. But when you come home and you're just like, I know so many people. Like, I go
Right.
to my grocery
you
store,
you
and the
cultivate
guy,
your own community.
the guy who checks me out is actually somebody who, I don't even know his name, but we almost have a relationship because I almost always go to his lane. It's like
I went to
that's the thing that makes here unique to me.
I went to a restaurant and there's this busboy and I'm looking at him. I'm like, I know this guy. I don't know how I know him. So I'm asking the server, like, what's his name? And I don't know his name. When she told me, but he came over to me and he gives me like a fist bump and he's like, how you doing, man? I'm like, good. How do I know you? And he's like, Rudder Ave, Turkey Hill. And I'm like, no way. Such a cool guy. Joe. His name's Joe.
Well, Eric, I think that's what we talked about when I was at your place. I don't know if it was during the podcast or prior to it or after it, one of the several hours we spent together.
Exactly.
But yeah, you have your recording studio.
Yeah.
And your kind of thing was like, why not here? Like, why can't people come,
Oh yeah.
Here
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I mean, especially with the internet. I mean, I get
exactly.
tracks sent to me. I can mix literally anybody. If somebody decides that from Japan they want to send me tracks,
There really is.
I can do it.
Yeah.
There really is
so
something to like. If you build it, they will come.
so it was just so much more important to me to stick around my family.
Yeah.
Like, I'm married with a kid. I want to be around Sarah's family. I want to be around my family. I want my son to be around, my family and Sarah's family. And, it's just like, that stuff is way too important to me than me being like, oh, maybe I'll get a boost in my career if I move to Nashville,
Right.
or wherever else, New York, Los
Yeah.
Angeles, whatever. Like, it's just sacrificing the time that I have on this planet to not be with the ones that I love is not worth it. It's
Yeah.
just not. Like,
Right.
I'm doing it now. I'm surviving, like, and I have time to spend with the people in my life that are important.
Right.
And it's just, this will always just be home. Like, so if we tour Japan with Fall of Tears and Mochinaga does his part on stage, that's gonna be great. I'm never gonna
Insane.
move there. Like,
Yeah. No. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I
You
think
know?
there's testament to translating that message to the band itself.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, like there's no
My
beating.
people.
Yeah, well, there's no beating around the bush that like we're getting older. Like
Yeah.
I started playing in bands when I was like 16, 17. I'll be 30 this year.
Yeah.
Like So like,
Wow.
there's
Old man, welcome to the club.
right.
Talking
So
about-
so like, yeah, there's truth to like you hang around what you truly care about.
Yeah.
And and like I talked about the growth and the naturalness within the confines of this band. But man, there is something about being in this band that just busts out the seams of respect, admiration, and love for one another.
Yeah.
That like it's just you can't replicate it. We found it so
Yeah.
we all had our trials and errors in various other things, but man, I think we found it here, and
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
everyone's here for the long term, and like relating to what you said, like this is yes, yes, Wilkes-Barre Scranton is home, but like in a weird metaphorical way, like so much hope is becoming artsy home.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No. Honestly. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's why Gavin's in this band because you know Gavin is the newest member unofficially,
Yeah.
but yeah, we're not saying anything, but he's in this band now.
Mm.
But the decision to bring Gavin in was one not taken lightly,
Mm,
and it was not decided on quickly
right.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
like it needed to be
Need to
the
stew.
right person, who feels like family to
Mhm.
us,
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
So yeah, there's a lot of
It's
lot
really
of weight
sweet.
in that one, I guess.
It's really sweet. Glad to be
You
here.
got kind of deep there.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, I saw you were also today. So real quick, today is March 12th, I believe it is. We're recording.
Yes, sir.
This
Yeah.
probably won't be released until early April, believe it or not.
Oh, all right.
Oh,
All good.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
A
cool.
little backed up, but everything's still going to be, current. We haven't talked
course.
about
Yeah, yeah.
any
Yes.
timely events outside of your album release May 17th and
Right.
the release show May
Depending on
25th.
when this is out, we might have the next single out.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is a date, but I guess we're not gonna say it.
Right.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
being conspicuous. Yeah. Or
I saw
mysterious.
you were as part of this little, you're doing this, outreach media stuff. Like you're really pushing this new song and
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
the release coming up. You were on WSFX
WSFX.
with
the
Ron
day that
Reno.
was This morning. Literally this morning.
Ron Reno.
I'll kind of
Yeah, shout out Ron Reno.
Yeah, I'll riff on that a little bit. I have been in I have a little bit of a background. My bachelor's is in PR. So I've been around the music scene long enough to start understanding how this all works. So for this release, very graciously, I was asked. I asked initially if I can do you guys care if I do the PR, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I think everyone graciously accepts. So I very advantageously taken on that new role because I haven't done it within the confines of the band solely by myself for a while. So that's the reason why we're doing this podcast right now. That's the reason why we're on WSFX this morning, and I'm really going for it and trying to really get us out there. But yeah.
Yeah, so another crazy thing. So literally this morning we're spending time with Ron,
Mhm.
and I called my dad up, and I was like, "Hey, we just left LCC. We did our interview thing, and just I always tell my dad like how everything goes, and I was like, yeah, I just I met Ron Reno and so on and so forth through Andrew, and my dad apparently has been friends with Ron for like 40 years, and he's like, yeah, I know him super well, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. He's like, him and another guy were like really good friends like growing up, and I was like, are you kidding me? So what's funny is that I didn't put this together. I mean, I didn't know that my dad knew him, but Ron asked me if I had a brother, and just because I'm sure he was thinking like this guy kind of looks familiar, maybe I know of somebody, and
I think it was like right after the last name, it was like Novroski, and
he's like, you have a brother?
You got a brother?
Yeah, and I was like, no, no, and that's literally when it ended. I was just like, nope, and then I texted him, and I was like, hey, I think you know my dad, and he just texted me back, I'm an idiot. So
Well,
I was like, this is so funny.
Well, it's funny because I used to work with Ron at Rock 107.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Is Ron still there?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I went back to Rock 107 just recently.
Yeah, I was connecting the dots earlier today because we made a post being at WSFX and someone commented from Rock 107, and then Eric was like, "Yo, someone just got commented from Rock 107," and I was like, "Oh yeah, Ron worked there or works there. I don't know." And then I just started connecting the dots with you as well. So it's everything went full circle today. It was very very unique.
So I just this past Saturday, I filled in on Rock 107 for Ron Reno.
Nice.
Wow.
See, this is weird.
Working out.
First ever air shift on Rock 107.
Well, there you go.
Wild.
Congratulations. How was that?
I think it was good.
All right.
I joked it might be my first and last time, but the CEO texted me during the shift and said that he thought I sounded great and happy that I'm part of the team. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll be back. But
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
believe it.
Nice.
Congrats.
well, it's also funny. I made a joke to my friends and my wife. I said, I'm really happy that I have a hot wife and an amazing life because it would be it would be a cruel joke to be on there like like an active radio station that a
Yeah.
very popular station
course, yeah.
now
Mhm.
when radio is competing obviously with the streaming services is things like that. So and it's not as
course.
popular as it was let's say 20 years ago.
Right.
When I
and
was
a whole different world then.
when I was single. If I was on the radio and I was 20 years ago and I was single, I could be a different person.
Mhm.
You know. So it's just funny. But I'm glad Ron Reno was out on vacation because it gave me an opportunity to jump on Rock 107.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was awesome. That was great today. Good conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's
Shout-
next?
shout
What else you got lined up?
The View.
Oprah?
We're gonna see everyone's sitting there
Oprah,
with
yeah.
Oprah. Yep,
Then
clearly.
Ellen after that.
Oh my God. I don't.
Oh yeah, there.
I didn't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, actually, you have to go on alone. We're not gonna be there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Mm.
so it's
That's,
just...
they're gonna love me.
You're gonna be able to tell who's who.
Me and
yeah.
Gavin.
No, so
Mm.
I guess I don't know if we're officially announcing any dates yet, so I'll be kind of vague.
Right.
There will be a second single coming out at some point.
Fairly soon.
Fairly
It
soon.
could be
yeah,
out right
like-
now.
Like I said, we'll be vague. Before the album release, and then there's the album release. Yeah, we're just gonna be doing as much of this as we can. We're gonna, we're promoting the heck out of Vacant Home right now, especially because we're so proud of this album
Yeah.
and everything that it's come to be.
Mhm.
And yeah, we just want we want to share it with everybody. We want everybody to enjoy it, as much as we enjoyed making it and so on and so forth. And
Exactly.
yeah, so then we
just,
have a couple shows around Philly
Mhm.
is coming up, and then Easton, just places far from home, because we're trying to keep May 25th. May 25th.
May 25th is the big one. We're
That,
trying to
Yeah.
we're trying to get everyone and everything possible to happen at that show. So
Yeah, come out to the Jazz Cafe.
come Jazz
May
Cafe
25th.
May 25th.
Yeah. Gonna be a blast.
yeah.
The bands are absolutely incredible, so you don't have to sit through any any bands that aren't good. Yeah, and it's gonna be wonderful. So yeah, that's the big thing.
Yeah.
And how did you get into the Jazz Cafe? And I only asked that question because within the last couple years they have kind of diversified their genre of music.
Yeah.
But the Jazz Cafe, history, they've been jam bands and things of that nature. So again, I've always loved talking about the Jazz Cafe because again they've talked about or they've added new bands.
Yeah.
How'd you guys get involved?
It was very difficult. So I reached out to a friend of ours. His name is Anthony Picotaggio, if you know who that is.
Oh yeah.
Anthony played there with Tori V.
Mhm.
And they're solid. And so Sarah did a video for Tori, and she's great. So we have good rapport with them. So I started talking to Anthony, and I said, "Hey, you're playing the Jazz Cafe. I want to play the Jazz Cafe for our release show. What should I do?" And he goes, "You should reach out to Heather." And I don't know Heather at all. I don't know her personally, and I don't even know what she looks like. But I reached out to an email and I didn't get a response, and then I followed up again and then didn't get a response, and then I reached out on the website, the Jazz Cafe like actual website, and I got a response from oh my gosh,
Mm,
I can't believe I'm blanking on his name.
that's
Who
Was it
owns it?
Ben
No,
mm,
who owns it? Uh,
Friedman?
Friedman. Oh my
Mm,
gosh,
yep.
how can I? Yeah, Rob Friedman. I got a I got a response from Rob, and then from there, I ended up reaching out to the Kirby lobby to see what that would look like to have our release show there, which that's AJ.
Yep.
And then AJ gets me in contact with Heather and Ben.
Yeah,
And
AJ came in clutch. So
oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
he
Yeah,
helped
AJ,
a ton
AJ
in all of this.
save our butts on this.
Mhm.
But anyways, it was definitely long and a little confusing. And now I'm in a group chat with AJ, Heather, and Ben. But I don't have Heather and Ben's number, so I don't know which one's which.
That's
But I
right.
keep updating them, and I'm just like, "Hey, here's the flyer." And but yeah, so like everything's announced, and like we're
Yeah.
all good now. But
Remember there was there was a really bumpy road at one point. We were like almost double booking over the Badleys,
Yeah.
and we were like, "Uh-oh."
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what the heck is going on. So so in a very long story, long story short, we ended up figuring it out. So May 25th is
Yes.
the date,
Locked in.
and we're again unofficially announced, we are trying to book like a little weekender around it, so like the
Yeah.
Friday before, the Sunday after, but it's gonna be far enough where you probably won't want to drive as far as it's gonna be, like
Right.
we're going down a little south for the 24th, coming up to home on the 25th for the
Mm.
Jazz Cafe, and then going
Go
up
all north,
north
yeah.
for the 26th. So we're trying to make it like, a little weekender based around like the release.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So we got plans, man.
Band stuff, album
Yeah.
cycle stuff.
I love the direction it's heading. Vacant Home is a great song, and so it's a great
Thank you.
intro to the new
you
quote
very
unquote
much.
new band.
Yes.
Yes.
We're very stoked about
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Mm.
But
It's
I
full,
have
the record is full of twists and turns. So
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff coming. A lot of cool stuff.
May 17th.
May
Yeah.
17th.
Yep, record is out May 17th, and that's gonna drop with the music video, which has our other member in it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know who that
So,
is. We'll find out.
Deep
I don't know.
details.
Coming
We'll
soon.
just blur them out.
Yeah.
I have two questions, and we'll wrap things up.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay.
I don't know who wants to take. I want to ask like one, two. I guess since Eric and Andrew have been more vocal,
Yeah.
we'll leave it to them.
Oh God. Oh,
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
oh no.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh, what?
There's a bug behind you.
This is all
Go
you,
ahead.
Gavin. This is all you, Gavin.
All right, shoot.
We'll do Andrew. This is for
Yes.
Andrew. There's an asteroid coming to Earth, and it cannot be stopped. Okay.
Mhm.
You have 5 days until it hits and ends the world.
Okay.
What are you doing?
5 days until it hits and ends the world.
Yeah, it's like Will Smith isn't going to come save us. Like Bruce Willis, not going to happen.
You're gonna
That
have
the
to what happened
world
to him.
is over.
I don't
Smith
know.
ain't saving anybody. Will Smith ain't saving himself.
What are you doing? If you have 5 days to live, what are you doing?
All right, let me think here. All right, so well, all right, so I'm a very logical thinker here. So I have to fully right off the bat, my brain just goes, okay, the state of the world is going to be absolutely insane. Very morbidly, I'm picturing like some kind of like, what's that movie? You're the horror guy. What's the movie with like it's like it's a certain time frame where you could just start killing people.
Oh, the Purge.
Yeah, so my brain went very Purge. Like it's
Wow.
gonna get very ugly very fast.
Jeez, hold
Like,
So you-
Wow.
yeah, that's
Wow.
probably not the direction that you wanted me to go in, but that's where I
what's
went.
happening?
You just think everyone's violent, Andrew?
Not everyone's violent. I just think there's going to be
It's
chaos.
going to be chaos. It's going to be chaos.
Literally every place is going
Wait,
like
hold on.
stores getting robbed left and right.
What
Can
what
we-
if what if for some reason you're the only one who knows?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we?
Am
change
I
the
the only one who
podcast if
knows?
You're the only one who knows.
Sure. Let's leave it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That changes
Wow.
everything.
You're gonna tell everyone.
Sure.
Okay.
Like,
That
"Oh, we gonna
changes
murder this nigga Robert
absolutely
Dennis."
everything.
I never thought about that. I just assumed in my mind everyone knew.
See, that's
Oh,
like
okay.
that's a
Okay,
whole different
alright.
scenario. So like if I'm
Yeah.
the only one that knows that the
Apparently
world's
very
going to
morbid.
end in 5 days. All right. So what are my limitations? Like, do I have like does life stay exactly normal? I just know the world's going to end in 5 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna have to get like super like sentimental and like kind of sappy with you.
Well, I mean, yeah, eventually one day maybe your kid listens to this, right? But like, I, of course you go there, right? Family,
Right. Of
wife,
course, yeah.
children,
You,
like,
you know, you take the time, you go out your way, you say goodbye. Well, not goodbye, but you make sure you make sure that everyone in your life gets the assurance that you love them and they're
yeah,
appreciated. You go that route.
it
But what
sucks that
like
it's a terrifying thing to think about. I
This
hope it.
makes me want to cry.
I don't. Yeah, I don't want to know. I mean, if something doesn't happen, I
yeah,
want
I
it
don't
to
want
just
to know
hit,
either.
and then because I can't.
Can we like
You remember that like there's so this I don't know why this is in my brain right now. There's a Nickelback video that
Yeah.
that exists out. I think it might be. All right, listen. I'm somewhat a big Nickelback guy.
I'm
I
a
think
huge
I think
Nickelback
it's
fan.
I
That's
think
fine.
it's Saving Me.
Oh,
If you
yeah, yeah,
watch
yeah.
it, so there's like a timer above everyone's head, and
Yeah.
there's like one dude with the visual of who gets everyone's timer. So he like, and everyone's counting down. So he's just kind of
Oh, I know this
walking around.
video.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah.
that's how it kind of plays. I would hate to be that guy. Like I would
Yeah.
just live in constant panic all the time. Like someone's at like 300 seconds, I would just run.
Suddenly everybody's at 300 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so the way the world is right now, it's like things things are crazy. I think right now, and then things
Oh,
could
it's
possibly
crazy.
get worse. We're 4 years removed from a pandemic, which is actually it's like 4 years exactly today. I think
Oh,
when
wow.
the world kind of shut down.
Mm.
But
Still kind of
if
like emotionally like I'm still part of me is still stuck in like 2021 ish.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
My
but I get
brain's
like
still partially there.
I get really
Yeah.
scared. Like let's just say internet goes down,
Mhm.
communication is limited, food is
Yes.
scarce. Like
Yes.
I have a 20-month-old, right?
Right.
I have a 6-year-old. I own a gun.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm not like very what's the word? I'm not very
Violent. Like
well. I'm not violent, no, but like I'm not like
like defensively violent.
right. But I'm just not like what's the, like
A gardener.
You're more on the
I'm
oh
not
yes.
I'm not saving my family is what I'm worried
Yes,
about.
you're more
Like
the yes, you do the okay. The
yeah,
gardener was good.
yeah.
You're
Like
gentle.
I get
Like you
worried.
care.
I get
You're a
worried.
compassionate human being.
I get very worried.
I'm right there with you because I'm kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, I'm
I
not gonna
just I don't
fight
know.
off. Like if someone came after me and like wanted to take my food and stuff, I'd be like, okay, here you go, take it.
Right.
Now what? Sorry,
Exactly.
family, your dad's a pussy.
Oh, I don't know. I don't like to think about the those times. I
Yeah,
hope that I never have to see those times
yeah, same.
because I don't know. I feel like that just your emotional state and the state of the world would just kind of revert backwards pretty substantially. I
Yeah,
feel like something innate, like something humanely would just revert very far back for like us as human beings, and we'd have to sense something primal.
yeah,
Like I don't know. I'd have to believe that something instinctually would click in everyone, and they would
Yeah.
instantly get defensive for that reason. That's just me thinking with like logically.
yeah. I like to think that people would, band together and be
Mhm.
on the same
Yeah.
team as opposed to,
Well,
this
that's what that's
divisiveness we've
That's super
I think so.
philosophical.
that is.
I think so.
It's very philosophical. I mean, isn't that what we want now? Like,
Well, yeah, but
I mean,
God,
that's that. That's the big. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The problem.
problem.
I'm sorry, I didn't really have an answer for you and all
You're not supposed to. I was
that.
I didn't prep you. It's just kind of off the cuff, It's just something like I was thinking about. We used to talk about with
I don't know.
some
You need
guys
to
at
give me
Axelrod.
like a very like red pill, blue pill type of question. And
Yeah.
I'll give you a solid answer then.
So the other one was and Eric, you can answer this. It's not really a question, I guess you could say, but like it could be. People always say like, I wish I could be a fly on the wall for to see or witness whatever.
Yeah.
But imagine having to switch bodies with somebody.
Yeah.
And imagine like imagine if you're just like, young Eric, like no kids, no wife, and all of a sudden like you're now like you got switched with a person who has got kids. Or maybe you're like an all-star athlete. Like, and you don't even know what's happening. It just happens one day. And like all of a sudden you're like, shit, like I'm an NFL player now. Like, what
I'm
would you want to yeah, you're
I'm
jacked, right?
Shaq.
Why is
What would
everyone
you
so
what would you want to
small?
be? Who would you want to switch with?
Oh.
Oh my gosh. Um, I don't know. Who would I switch? Who would I switch lives with? As much as I admire the guy, definitely not Jesus. Seems like he had it pretty rough.
It's got a lot of wheels too.
Um, uh, oh my gosh. I don't know. I feel like so happy with my life. I don't know. I don't know if I would want to switch. I think if I was forced to.
Like for a day, just for a day.
Oh, okay, yeah, for a day.
Oh, who would you?
Um,
Oh,
Gosh,
who
I'm
sounds
trying to
like
think
fun
of like
for a day?
who doesn't have trauma. No one. Everyone has trauma. It would definitely be someone who is so physically different than me.
Yeah.
Just to see like Yao Ming.
Mike Tyson.
No, definitely not Mike Tyson. Yeah. If anyone remember who Yao
Different-
Ming is.
different
I-
level.
Yeah,
I-
of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Like somebody who's like so insanely tall. Just to see
Shaquille
Imagine
O'Neal.
like
Yeah.
imagine like it's like
Hold up.
the
Hold on.
transition occurred and like you didn't even realize and you're getting out of bed but you just keep like the seat like you
Yeah.
just it just keeps going up and you're like what's going on? What's going on?
Yeah, I definitely think it or like I don't know, because I feel like I'm doing what I want in music and I love what I'm doing in music. So it would seem like a waste for me to try to switch it with someone who's doing music
Yeah.
for a living. I think like my
Yeah.
I don't know, my I have like literally no other hobbies. So there's maybe okay, I've got it.
All right.
Something that has to do with the ocean. Somebody who's got like either a career or something where they are
In the
scuba diving
ocean.
in the water with, I don't know, maybe the people who have to go clean the tanks at the Georgia Aquarium.
There you go.
Dude, it sounds so like silly, but that's an experience I would love.
Mhm.
I just like
They have to
I'm
be human. What if you're what
I'm
if
a
you're like
giant-
Shamu for a day?
no, he's got a bad rap.
Oh, no.
But like
Harambe.
yeah,
The glory days.
All
no,
right.
it would, yeah, Harambe pre.
If you could change Harambe's life,
Yeah.
how would you?
No, I definitely think like yeah, I'm a giant lover of like the ocean. And I always told Sarah, I think I said if I had in another life, I always say if I had a different life, I would have done something with like the ocean.
Mm.
And I don't like, I don't regret my decisions of music or whatever, but I love that.
The ocean terrifies me, so no.
Yeah, but like it's definitely scary, but it's I don't know, it's just the coolest thing ever. And as cliche and cheesy as this sounds, everybody talks about like extraterrestrial life and aliens in space.
Mm.
And I'm just like, man, have you seen some of these creatures under the water?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
we know more about space than we do about
Yeah.
the ocean.
Yeah,
I was
like
gonna
those are
say,
aliens.
you ever think about like, or ever look up like how much of the ocean has been un
Undiscovered.
Oh yeah,
undiscovered? Yeah,
yeah.
It's
like a
insane.
ton. Yeah, it's
Just
a ton.
just for physically
like-
not being able to get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, like what could you potentially,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Truthfully,
So
I
like,
don't want to.
I see
I-
anglerfishes in my dreams.
yeah, just like
How terrifying they are.
it's like something that has to do with the ocean, and it doesn't. It seems like so anti-glamorous.
Mm.
It seems like you want to switch lives with I don't know,
Usually
friggin'
celebrity of some sort.
Steven Tyler, probably not.
I don't know
but,
about
like,
Steven Tyler.
Maybe, or some other like very famous, influential, whatever.
Richards. I wonder what it's like to be 117.
Yeah, like, but honestly, I think if I was to switch, it wouldn't be with something like super glamorous. It would be with someone who's just like has that experience where they're able to like go into the ocean and scuba dive and like see
Yeah.
some of like the craziest things. Because I don't know if I'll ever get that experience in life. I mean, it would be wonderful if I could. But I don't know. I definitely think that I don't have a person in mind. I don't know
That's fine.
who does that, but
Some
someone who
scuba-
their daily life experience is going and exploring the ocean.
There you go.
Yeah,
There's my
sick.
answer.
That's sick.
Fair enough. Well, there's so much stuff like you will never experience. Like
Yeah,
I
oh,
wish
yeah.
we had
Exactly.
this ultimate. Like
We can't do it all. We're just we have a finite amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here for a short time. So that's unfortunate. There's so
I
much
was
of the
talking
world
to
we'll
Sarah-
never see.
Make
Yeah.
the best of it.
I was talking to Sarah about that too, where I said I don't understand people who feel like what they call FOMO or whatever, like fear of missing out. Because like literally every decision in your life, you're missing out on something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like the fact that we chose to be here right now talking to Johnny means that we are missing out on something else.
Right.
Who knows what it could have been?
Probably
But,
something
like,
much
you know,
better.
This is cooler though.
Yeah, yeah.
This
Nah,
is,
probably
we
something much better.
chose the better
But
thing.
I'm just
right?
saying, like, no matter what, if you choose to wake up at 7 o'clock or you choose to wake up at 8 o'clock,
Mhm.
like in both decisions, if you wake up at 7, then you're missing out on an hour of sleep that you could have had. But if you wake
Yeah.
up at 8, then you're missing out on an hour of daylight that you could have had. So
Exactly.
like you're always missing out of something. That's why like
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in just like finding contentment in like where you're at and like choosing to love the journey and love the life that that you have regardless of your circumstance.
Mhm.
And I know that's like very difficult and different for
Mhm.
other people.
Gratitude is a beautiful thing. Yeah.
And like I definitely think I can't speak to people who are like going hungry or like that's horrible situations that I don't wish upon anyone. But for the majority of us in America, like our circumstance is pretty good. So you can choose to either be miserable about it or you can choose to accept that this is where you're at, and if you want to grow and get out of it, that's awesome.
Mhm.
But still, like I try not to let my circumstances affect my happiness level or my joy,
Of course.
so that was a tangent off than something
That's
else.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. So just kind of the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
We got pretty philosophical for a while now.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. We can
love
talk
it too.
philosophy all the time.
I know.
I mean, that's as you know, Johnny, like that's what we do on our podcast. Like it's usually pretty positivity oriented, I guess, and about like bringing some kind of value to somebody's life where they can switch their mindsets.
We try to be positive people around here.
Did you get a guest tonight?
Yeah, funny enough, we did.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
We got Mr.
Who?
Mr. Dave Klein, aka Bjorn
Oh,
Hammerstein, aka Donk Bronx.
I look forward to that
Pretty cool names.
They're pretty cool names.
Love
Yeah, you're gonna love our episode. It's he goes in a huge rant about how he hates Lowe's. It's great.
one. Good. Looking forward to it.
It was
But I'm also looking forward to May 17th. New first
Yes, sir.
full length album.
Full length.
From-
full length.
Gonna be great.
I'd be
so much
lying
hope
to
buried.
say I'm not weak.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for mentioning the name.
Of course.
Say it again, because that might just be like you
Long
saying.
title.
I'd be lying to say I'm not weak.
Very
So
good.
that really like almost like in like superhero format.
Oh,
And
yes.
I kind of didn't like that.
Yeah, that's,
I'd be lying to say I'm not weak.
that is the title track as well. It's the last song off of the record.
Mm,
I'm super proud of that one too.
yes.
But yeah, that one's gonna drop at the music video on May 17th. Or actually, excuse me, the whole album is gonna drop, but it is the title track. The music video is for the song I'd Be Lying to Say I'm Not Weak.
Right.
I like that. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
whole
too.
thing.
And then, of course, May 25th, Jazz Cafe, River Street Plains, for
Yes,
the
sir.
album release show. So
Yes.
lots going on for you guys. I'm proud of you. I'm excited for you, and hopefully I'll see you guys in person soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would-
Dadcast 2.0.
Dadcast 2.0. Come
I-
on up. Come
I
on
would-
down.
I would love to switch bodies with Jake Gyllenhaal. By the way,
Sure,
I want to be him.
sure.
Is there a way?
I mean,
like,
maybe in
Whatever,
15
dude.
years.
Have you ever heard of lucid dreaming?
Yes.
You just have to. commit.
wait, so I know Gavin is uncomfortable because he's like kind of in the band, but not really in the band because
Hi.
it's just a weird timeline. Who would you switch bodies with?
Oh,
Say also Jake Gyllenhaal.
also Jake Gyllenhaal. No, I don't.
All right, we're now. It's now a
What if-
cohesive answer.
What if you want to change bodies with me as I'm changing bodies with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Oh, I know who.
So you can be me and Jake.
Yeah.
That'd be
So-
pretty sick.
Some weird format where like everything just starts shifting.
Sort of like the fear of like discovering the ocean and everything. I'm really into F1 and like automobiles, cars, racing. So Lewis Hamilton would be pretty sick because that'll be horrifying, but I would bet that would be the most exhilarating experience.
He's a racer.
Yeah, he is an F1 racer. Just went to
Ha-
a Ferrari, you know.
Have you ever been in a Tesla?
No, but I work for Hyundai and they have electric cars that are similar, I guess.
I valeted for about 3
they are
years, and I
really
have been at
fast.
Tesla.
What if you change bodies with him
I
for
don't
like
I don't
2
like
seconds?
the massive
And like
screens.
randomly you're just like
Well, the reason I ask is a buddy of mine has one, and it was my first time in it, and
Insanely fast.
I can't say hit the gas because it's not gas powered, right?
Right.
But he hit it, and
gas.
Dude,
I was
It's
just like,
just the
Yeah.
transition. It's just so smooth. Like you're
but
like,
look, I just like it was like an out of like body experience. Like
Yeah.
my brain was scrambled.
you're just like here. You're just here, and if you just step on it, you're just so you're like, I don't know. Like all of a sudden, you're going 75 miles an hour, and you're like, what happened?
Yeah,
But I
lots
wasn't
of
expecting
cars.
it. I wasn't expecting
Yeah.
that at all. It was like
Torque, man.
head
Rubber
flies
band.
back, and holy shit.
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster. It's
Yeah.
bizarre.
There's a motor on each wheel and they get going quick.
Yeah.
Oh,
What a time to be
interesting.
alive.
Yeah. Cybertruck. What a time to be alive. I can't wait
Hell
until
yeah.
I see one in person.
I know. I know.
It seems like I don't know. Seems like mythology like it's just like one of those things that you see. I see it on the screen all the time.
Sure.
But I'm just like the day I see one in person, I'm just gonna be like, wait, it's real.
People
Real,
say they're
yeah.
massive. Like the pictures don't do it justice.
Yeah.
Freaking
Yeah.
huge.
Ready.
Can't imagine.
I'm ready.
0 to 60 in like 3 seconds.
Elon Musk, what a guy.
Agreed.
Yeah,
He's
I guess,
he's the one putting the brain chips in people. We're all fucked.
Yeah, Neuralink.
yeah, I'll probably pass on that one.
But
But,
well, you say that, but like that's like I don't know.
When you think about it, it's like what is next?
I think like I don't know. I have this idea in my brain that it's gonna like the concept's gonna be similar to like the iPhone.
Right.
Where like eventually just technology is just going to reach a point like this is going like it's going to become the tool that an overwhelming amount of people use, and it's going something is going to be very up to date constantly, and so like people are just going to jump on the bandwagon as they did similar to this.
Right.
Like
Well,
I don't
think
know.
it-
That's how
think
it
about-
plays out in
Get
my brain.
surgery to get this.
That's
No,
that's
but
how it
think
plays out in
about
my brain.
Email as just like a simple thing. Like you talk about people like sending actual mail or sending a fax. Like you laugh at those people. Like what are you talking about? What are you doing?
Yes,
Right.
eventually something just becomes so commonplace that you're just like, whatever. Everyone does
Yeah.
it.
Everyone. I
Yeah.
mean, like you'll get
Scary.
left behind.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
like you'll become out of date.
Yeah.
That's scary stuff.
It's like when
Like-
flip phones
I
came
think I
out.
might be dead by
How
then.
do you get better than this?
I hope.
you know?
I mean, I hope so. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen in my lifetime.
I don't know though. But what if it's like?
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Elon
it's
Musk is
actually-
putting brain or Neuralink in people.
Mm.
It's happening.
What if like eventually like they figure out, like Neuralink eventually leads to a path of like we can upgrade it and give you super speed or like super like what happens then? What's like
I think
Well, people are
think I just-
designing children now. You know, it's insane.
Oh, I did not know that. I
You
don't
can,
like
You
that.
can design.
No, I really- I
humans
don't like-
and You can literally.
Oh wait, no, I do know that. Wait,
design
maybe
your
I have heard that.
I think I just want to die.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
I'm just gonna choose to end it at that point.
Yeah, like people talk about it all the time where they're like, oh well, you know, if you could choose to live forever or whatever, and I was like, no, like I legitimately like in not an edgy kind of like I'm so cool kind of way, but like very legitimately want to die, and it's 100% based off of what I believe it like happens after
Right.
death. So
course.
like, you know, I want to live my life. I
In-
want to experience
in
my life
the-
as it should have been, and then die, and I will see you all in heaven.
Outside of the human experience, however, I remember I just recently read an article talking about some type of an advancement in cat health.
Okay.
That there's something some type of Chinese or Japanese doctor found a possible vaccine that could eventually lead to like 20 plus additional years for your cat.
Yeah, I'll
So like
pass.
that kind of I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that for my cat. That's what
Okay,
that's what
yeah,
I'm
okay,
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
I say, like, hey,
You can have
okay.
Benny for another 20
I was
years.
like, if my cat could live to like 40, dude, yes.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
Absolutely
sure.
insane.
But no, I
It's like on that context,
no, when it's my time to go, I want to go.
Yeah.
And I'll
what if it was your cat?
what
if there was
I'm
what
very
was, like,
allergic to cats.
Wait, let's say there was a
Yeah.
hypothetical scenario where like you were very attached to your pet, whatever it may be, and there was like some type of like let's say it was a cat in this circumstance, and there was like some type of neuralink for your cat that like eventually like upgraded its technology to the point where like if you put this in your cat and
Yeah.
download the correct firmware like whatever
Scan the QR code.
yeah, scan the QR code. Your cat's gonna, I don't know, like
Talk to
gain
you.
super strength. I don't, yeah.
I don't know. I
Like
think,
you could like upgrade your cat.
It turns into a lion.
yeah.
I think that's a very gray area because of like the way that I would perceive animals versus humans.
Right.
Because like,
Oh,
do you
you-
believe that animals have a soul? Yeah, now you're getting
See,
philosophy.
now we're getting
Philosophical.
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 Animals
Yeah.
go to heaven.
Because yeah, all dogs.
All
go to
dogs
heaven,
do
so
go
there
to
you
heaven.
Yes, for sure.
Like, you know, if it doesn't have a soul, then I guess
Not
what,
blue jays though.
you know, whatever. Yeah,
Blue jays go to hell.
They're dogs go to heaven, blue jays go to hell. That's the one that's quotable.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, quote that on Instagram.
Yeah. I'll make a reel out of that.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Blue
post,
jays go to
Blue
hell.
Jays go to hell.
we're gonna post some like
Honestly.
so much hope black and white cryptic thing, and it's just gonna be
Blue
title.
jays go to hell. Subtitled in Japanese.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
I
we
love
thought
that.
this said Vacant Home.
Oh man.
That's freaking great.
We want to publicly apologize to all you, all you Blue Jay
That's-
activists.
But I guess in all seriousness, if you're watching this prior to May 17th, Gavin is not announced, but he is in this band.
Yes.
I may be blurred for this video.
Yeah,
but
no, May 17th
Voice
is
is like really deep and low.
his official announcement.
Nobody
I
knows
wanna-
who.
I went an hour and 45 minutes ignoring Gavin. And now because I thought we were he's just like he's there, but he's
remember,
not
That's
there.
okay. Yeah, we can. He's not a mute. You can talk to him.
Who?
He's real?
We were like downplaying it, kind of not downplaying it. I don't just do what you want.
He's just like
You
There-
can
there
just
is
put
no,
a
like-
big blur like right
it's a
here.
hologram.
A black bar.
Yeah, big
A black
and-
bar.
big bar.
With, like sensor bar.
Make my voice really low, like one of those like criminal investigation.
Yeah.
interviews.
Yeah.
That was their.
Yeah, no, like nothing like big official announcement until
Right.
the 17th.
Yeah, we're
but,
not
like, yeah,
publicizing anything until the album, but
But
we're
you'll
like
be-
we
you'll be
want to
seeing
do
him around.
more and we want him involved and
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, my 5 listeners are gonna find out, so you better get ready.
Heck yeah.
It's definitely
Sir.
kind of it's
Inside
definitely
look.
a little odd with the timing and whatnot because 2 of the music videos were like already shot before Gavin was in the band.
Right.
So like we only shot one with him in the band, but it is the title track and it is the one that's coming out on the 17th.
Right.
So it's just like
it's just like
it was just, like,
it's icing
weird
on the
timing.
cake, you know.
Yeah, it was
Sure.
just like weird timing, but I think like what is important, or when you look like we absolutely did not want to like officially announce Gavin in the band and then come out with a music video that he's not in,
Right.
Right.
because that would look really bad. So I think like just
true.
retrospectively, when you look at the So Much Hope timeline, you'll be like, here's a music video with the 3 of them. Here's a music video with the 3 of them. Oh, look, Gavin's announced. Here's a music video with the 4 of them. It would look so weird to retrospectively look back and be like, look, there's a 4th member. And then the
with
music
3 of them.
video is only 3 of them,
Yeah.
you know? So
Well, here's a
That's
question
kind of-
for you.
Yeah.
Is there a band photo with the 4 of you?
there is.
Yeah.
It exists,
good.
but you
Okay.
won't see it until
May
May
until
17th.
May 17th.
What am I gonna do for my thumbnail?
Blur them out.
You guys blur them out. I can't. I don't have that talent.
Just
Oh, that
make
talent.
the photo just him jamming out on stage.
Quick,
Like a
blur
sick-
yourself out.
Yeah.
Sick photo of Gavin.
Hey, the whole time it's just
Hey guys, what's going on? I'm with So Much Hope buried.
it's Andrew.
Who's talking? Who's that talking? Like,
Crazy.
Oh, what you talking about, man?
Yeah,
Sweet.
So,
But yeah, I mean, if you need to use the 3 of us, by all means, do what you need to do.
yeah.
We're making it known. It is so like I think I put in the group chat today. I was just like, you know what? Like I want to look back at the like this record cycle and have Gavin there the whole time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because
Like,
he
well, yeah, well, I was
once,
in it,
like,
but
you're
I
like, yeah.
wasn't really. You know.
Well, you guys send me the photo.
All right, we will.
Pick whichever one you want.
You're gonna get like 9 nonsensical ones. And
Yeah, I
one
was gonna
good one.
say, yeah, until you get the real one.
Yeah.
That's fine. Jake Gyllenhaal.
It's
That's
just gonna
fine.
be 4 Jake Gyllenhaals.
well, I mean, if you like squint your eyes, I kind of look like him.
Yeah,
You know?
Right.
Just
Yeah,
kidding.
you're right.
Derek has an obsession. In case you didn't know.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, Brothers
What are
is
you
a great
talking about?
movie.
I know how to spell his last name.
Do it.
So
Do it right now.
okay, put me
Brothers.
on the spot.
Do it.
You said GY twice, so he's
Hold on. G-Y-L-E-N-H-A-A-L.
I'm looking it up.
I feel like you don't know how to spell his last name. Oh, that sounds right.
I feel like you got it.
J
How'd we get
G Jesus G-Y-L-L-E-N-H-A-A-L.
He's
What?
correct.
He's
Why
right.
so many doubles.
He's right.
Correct. Yeah, he's got.
Gyllenhaal? Wait, just listen.
He's a
add-
unique guy.
Remove the name. Remove the like the
I'm gonna
name
need to
from the
see your
person.
searches.
Gyllenhaal is just a weird word.
It is.
Yes.
Gyllenhaal.
We're gonna start calling him Derek Gyllenhaal.
Derek Gyllenhaal.
Oh my god, guys, stop.
I should do
Love
that.
it.
Derek Gyllenhaal. That works.
Oh
There you go.
wow.
Donnie
D-
Darko
DJ.
over here.
I would
The DG. 'cause it starts
DG.
with a
my
G.
fiance would be okay with that.
Do you mean Mel Gyllenhaal?
Mel
Does,
Gyllenhaal.
does she
I
squint
would
her?
I would ship that too.
What
Does
was
she
that?
squint her eyes and hope that you're?
Oh, gee.
Probably, honestly, like 100%.
That
I-
was
Yeah.
the mystique.
Oh.
Well, we squinted Derek. He kind of looks like Jake Gyllenhaal.
She squints at me and she's like, "I wish you were the drummer of Grayscale."
Oh,
Nick Vino.
oh, Nick Vino.
She's gonna be so excited that I said his name.
Vino.
Shout out Nick Vino.
I don't know who that is, but shout out Nick
Whoever the
Vino.
heck that guy is.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
You're
shove it
like
in her
That
face
is
that
the
no one
wacky
knows
hours
who
at
he
this
is.
point.
He's the drummer of Grayscale,
Oh, okay.
which actually like we would fit pretty well on a show with.
True, cut that part out. Like, who knows this guy?
Well, guys, thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah.
We could literally talk forever.
I know, we
I
could,
know, and I'm sick of
but
it.
no one wants to hear it. So, like,
That's
Yeah.
fair.
I'm
That would
hoping
be
people
so
have
bad.
stay with us
So
for
do
an
I.
hour, an hour 50. So,
All right, man.
We
Well, guys,
appreciate it.
Appreciate you and
take
everything
care.
you do.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
It's been really fun.
thank you.
I'm
I
stoked to say
appreciate
I'm
that.
officially a part of the Popko Project.
Oh yeah, bro.
I've always
Hell
wanted
yeah.
to say that. You've told me to
Official.
say it once, and I was like, I don't know.
You did, yeah.
And
That's
now I can
good.
say it.
Am I really?
Well, I'm gonna hit stop, and then I need Eric for like 2 seconds after we're done. So,
Yeah.
Yo.
all right, guys,
Thanks again. Thanks
be
again.
well. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Thank you.
All
You
right,
too,
later.
sir.